Oh, oh, I'm a ghost. Oh, oh. You know what sucks? See that there? I wrote that when I was done with this video. I forgot to turn on the damn mic. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm in the mood to do more. I'm in the mood to talk. I can talk about this again. Why not? Ghost. Being a ghost. Is it worth it? We don't know. Because we have to die first, right? To be a ghost. What did we do to end up in purgatory to be a ghost? And like I'm already out of tea. This will probably be the only slurp in this video. I should get some water. Yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, I got maybe some water now. I have to go grab that. Yeah. And I gotta get one more thing. Just in case. You know, I don't have an actual proton pack. Wish I did. You just never know, right? Well. Yeah, all I know is if I'm a ghost, like, you know, I won't be able to eat chicken. That's out the menu again, just like if I was a vampire or zombie. Werewolf maybe. Werewolf. I could probably eat chicken again, right? But as a ghost, it's off the... It's done. Actually, you don't even eat at all when you're a ghost. Can they eat? Unless you're like in Casper, right? His uncles were eating, he was eating, but the food just falls right through him. Everything they chewed up is just mushed together on the floor, and then Casper's got to clean it up. And his asshole uncles just tell him, like, this floor was dirty enough for us to eat off of. And they, you know, still eat the food they just ate. Like, it's like eating your own shit. Unless, you know, you become like a vengeful ghost. That was in something I learned in the Witcher 3 game, where there's this ghost that you meet, that Geralt meets. She tells you she needs you to bring this box to her husband. And just so that she could tell her that, you know, she could tell him that, you know, that she loves him still, but he needs to move on with his life. Right? So then Geralt takes the box, like, okay, I'll do this favor for you. I'm pretty sure I'm not getting paid, but, you know, why not? I like to help, you know, these lovers, you know, just to have these ghosts have their unfinished business finished. And, you know, just to have her husband be at peace. But then you find out when that husband opens the box, that girl's ghost becomes a wraith, basically like a vengeful ghost. She ends up killing her husband, and then she's gone. She disappears, and then that's when Geralt goes like, oh, that was a revenge ghost, a vengeful one, yeah. Unless you want to be, you know, the kind of ghost I think would be cool to be is maybe Cervantes de Leon from Soul Calibur, Soul Blade. So in the game, Soul Blade, he's a pirate, Cervantes. He has the sword Soul Edge. It's like an evil sword. It gives him, you know, powers in a way, and it helps him rule the oceans. You know, and then just until like the main characters Taki and Sophicia, they find him, they kill him, destroy the sword, but the fragments spread around, and he has part of the fragments of that sword in his body. And then brings him back, but like as a undead pirate ghost, but he still looks a little, still has his whole body. He looks, you know, he doesn't look all messed up, he's just gray. But he's technically a ghost from what I read. Because in that, you know, you can fight, I mean, it's a fighting game, he has to fight, you have to play as him, you're fighting. right? I mean, you could be that kind of ghost, right? I know as a ghost, you can go through. He can't go through walls, but I know as a ghost, you could fly through walls, right? You could just go through anything, right? So how is it like if and go like how is it you're like still able to stand on the ground? You know, is that like a rule? You can't go. You can. Can you ghosts fly? Can they can't go any higher? You know, how high can they go? And when they go down, can they? What's the farthest they can go? You know, just like in the movie Ghost. You know, I would like to be Patrick Swayze in that movie. You know, I just want. You know, I can just do. You know, try to find a way to talk to Molly. You know, have like Whoopi Goldberg go up to Molly. You know, I want to meet a lady like Whoopi Goldberg. You know, talk to Molly, and she goes like, "Molly, you in danger, girl." You know, just like that. You know, and just to convince her, I want to do the whole thing. You know, like in the movie. You know, he has the coin. The coin is the penny's floating. And he tells, you know, Whoopi Goldberg to tell Demi Moore's character Molly, tell it's for luck. You know, ditto, and all that. You know. Speaking of Whoopi Goldberg's character, her character and the main character from The Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment, Cole Sear. Now they could talk to ghosts, right? If I had that ability, just like what she did, I'd want those ghosts to do not talk to me, do not come to me during these hours at night, you know. Anything, don't come to me between after 5 p.m. and do not come to me before 2 p.m. Okay. You could talk to me in the hours of 2 to 5. But after and before that, leave me the fuck alone. You know, you better find, if you need to talk to me, there's got to be some kind of payment, you know. You better get your, whoever you're trying to talk to, you better tell them, hey, pay me. Alright, I hear this guy's been bothering me all day to try to get this word out to you. You know, there's your word, hey, how are you? Doing good? Okay, great. Bye-bye. Okay, cool. What other? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be the ghost from like Super Mario Brothers, you know? The Boo. Where they just, you know, creep behind Mario like this. You know, they do the laugh. And then when Mario turns around, they're just like that. And then Mario turns around again. It's like that again. And then turns around like that. And that's just like, damn. I have no other movements, that's all I can do. Yeah. That sucks. Unless you're like the ghost from Luigi's Mansion. Those cause more mischief than the Boos. You know, they could actually punch Luigi. They can even wear disguises. They could wear clothes and it won't fall through them. I think a cool crossover though would be like if they had a crossover with Luigi and the Ghostbusters. You know, what was the name of his thing? Yeah, his proton pack was called the Poltergust 2000, like a vacuum, or vacuum's ghost. So imagine like the Ghostbusters, you know, him and the proton pack and the Poltergust. It's like it'll be just unstoppable. You know, the ghost can just, Ghostbusters, you know, do, re, he gone.
Do, re, he gone.
You know, they turn it on and he goes like that. And then, you know, they're stunning the ghost, right? With they're tying him up, and then Luigi can just come in, this poltergust, vacuuming in, and then boom, there you go. Ghost captured. Payment right there for the Ghostbusters. Easy. Well, Luigi's got to get some kind of payment too. I mean, in the game, he's getting paid the whole time. You're vacuuming up money. It'd be an excellent crossover, in my opinion. I'm a little upset with myself that the camera didn't, the microphone wasn't on, but it just feels weird. But you know, it's strange that happened. I said a lot of stuff, dude. It feels weird that I gotta repeat it, but you know, I'll repeat this story. I remember someone I knew told me about how he believes that someone dies, we do leave energies in our house, in their house for a while, like energies that just repeats things, you know. So I had that thought where, like when my dog died, I felt like the first week he was still in the house. You know, sometimes I could still hear him like downstairs, maybe walking around, or like he's like scratching my door. And that's what it felt like. So it just felt like, yeah, he was still in the house in a way. But maybe it was just his ghost still here, or maybe he was getting used to the routine that. Because I remember you'd have to do that. You always have a routine with your dog, yeah. And I always felt like I had to do those routines with him, but I forgot that he's not here anymore for that first week. And I had dreams about him too during that week. I remember, yeah, I guess he was just at my front door just looking outside like he always does. He would look out the front door, just like look at everything. I remember that in my dream. And then, strangely enough, I remember when my grandma passed, I had a dream about her. But she was just sitting on the couch and just like, just smiling, just like being what she always does, always smiling too. Just kind of like, and she looks at me and just goes, "Oh, like because I just woke up, But what I'm saying is like, it feels like some ghosts do have the privilege to, I guess when they don't have unfinished business, they have the privilege to visit once in a while to certain people, Well, that's why there's this book that I want to read. It's in the Beetlejuice movie. I've never seen the second one. It's called The Handbook for the Recently Deceased. And I want to know, I gotta look it up again. Is that book real? Because I want to read that. I do want to read that. I want to know, are there rules as a ghost? Especially like how in First Beetlejuice, they made it seem like, and now I could be getting this wrong, but they made it seem like for the characters, for Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, Adam and Barbara, they're allowed to haunt their house, but they can't leave their house because there's a sandworm. They go in that dimension where there's a sandworm around, and then if they get, it seems like, because when Beetlejuice got eaten by that sandworm, he was sent back to the waiting room for the deceased, and he had a super long number where the voodoo doctor only had like a number with 2 digits, which he was up next, and Beetlejuice was looking at the number going, like he's reading it, and he looks at the number list, he's like, he's like this, and he goes, oh, come on. That's like why he's got to wait like, I don't know, 500 years for his number to get called. Like if that's a thing, that wow, that sucks. Because I think if you had to haunt a house for eternity, I don't know, can ghosts get cabin fever? Will they go nuts? Maybe that's why they start haunting the place, because they're getting cabin fever. But maybe that's what in Beetlejuice they weren't going as crazy, because they got to, I guess because at the end of the movie they got to find a way to how to, the ghosts, Adam and Barbara, they found a way to how to live with their, to live with the living, the people that moved in their house, Lydia and her family, found a way to, how to adjust instead of haunting. How about let's adjust? See, that I wouldn't mind that. Let's, you're moving in my house. I was haunting it. I don't want to haunt you though. Let's adjust to it. Let's be roommates. That's basically what they did. They became roommates. But Barbara and Adam, I don't think they have to pay rent or anything. They don't have to pay anything, right? They're dead. Where are they gonna get money? But then there's the ghost. Speaking of, I think I'm going back to vengeful ghosts. What about, Samara from The Ring? She was a ghost, right? At the end of the movie, when she came out the TV, she was a vengeful ghost. Well, not vengeful, she was just pure. They said in the movie she was just pure evil, right? She just wanted to make people suffer. She was just, there was no, what did the kid say? Don't you get it, Rachel? She never sleeps. The blood coming out of his nose, And, Rachel's trying to figure out what's going on, but then you find out, there was nothing good about Samara. She was just evil. I think she was did she control things around her, or just everything around her just, I forgot. Let me search that up. Did Samara have powers? She did have powers. Oh, okay, so that's why, that's why the adopted mom was going crazy, right? That's why she jumped, or something? I think that's why? I don't remember. I just remember they showed the mom put a plastic bag over Samara's head and she dumps her in the well. And then they made it seem like Samara was just a lost child, or not a lost child, but more like a misunderstood child. But then you find out Samara was just pure evil with powers. She was like Carrie, right? So they said she had psychic powers, right? No, Carrie had telekinesis. She was just she's basically like an evil Professor X from the X-Men. The evil telepath. Damn. That's frightening. Yeah. I mean, another thing, though, if you had a ghost haunting you, though, would it be like the ghost, in Paranormal Activity, what's that, part 3? No, part 3. The marked ones. That's the one with that one kid and that one Mexican kid. What is his name? I don't remember his name, but that one movie. Let me see, what's it called? I actually did enjoy that one. I just don't understand how it's. I understand how it ties in. I just don't understand the purpose of the tie-in. If whoever's watching this, please correct me. Tell me why it ties in. The marked ones. When he was being haunted by his ghost. When you found out when his ghost beat up the two guys in the basketball court when they were about to beat him, when they were beating him up, and his ghost beat up the two guys, and then when he had to show dude, I have a guardian angel or something, because he goes like this, like a trust fall, and the ghost catches him, making sure he doesn't get hurt, and then he does all this other stuff, or he tries to skateboard off his stairway of his apartment house. It's outside too. He does a super jump and lands it. The ghost gave him those special kind of abilities now. That'd be cool. Until why the ghost is there, then you have no control of yourself anymore. Then you're basically possessed. Is the ghost an exorcist? Is that basically a ghost? Or is that just a demon possessing the main girl? I don't remember too much of Exorcist. The only thing I remember of that was when I was a kid. I remember me and my brother shared a room. I remember he left the TV on, and I remember I woke up. It was The Exorcist that was on, and it was in the part where she's like hopping up, where she's like jumping off up and down the bed, and then like it closes up on her face. She's like, I remember I woke up to that, and I was like, and then I had to get up and turn off the TV, and then run back into my bed and just hide and try to go back to sleep. Yeah, I can't believe that memory just popped in my head, man. That was terrifying. Yeah. And then there's the ghost from Pokemon. Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. Now, are they dead? Or are they just, just ghost Pokemon that can be physically harmed by other Pokemon? And they can physically fight other Pokemon? But I was looking this up earlier. It was in an episode of Pokemon where Ghastly was the main storyline, but it was about a girl who, I'm reading it again, reading it right now, about a girl who waited on top of a mountain, like on a mountain on the shore, on the cliff. It says she waited on the cliff for her lover to come back, and she died. She died like I think, I'm not sure if they said she died, but of course she died. But like, it's been 2,000 years, and then the anniversary was coming up, and then her ghost was haunting that area of anyone who tried to come near it. But then it turns out it was just Ghastly who was trying to scare away people, just because Ghastly was helping that ghost, the girl, who was still waiting for her lover for like 2,000 years. And I was thinking too, like, of course he's probably dead, but maybe because like he's where he died, he's haunting that grounds, and that just answers the question. Maybe that's why they can't really go anywhere. Wherever he died, he's stuck there, and then he's trying to find a way to get his message to her, but his message never arrived. He didn't have the right ghost Pokemon to do it. He didn't have Ghastly or Haunter or Gengar. I'm not sure if there's other ghost Pokemon. That I'm not too educated on today's Pokemon these days. But yeah, like what I'm trying to say is, are those the ghost Pokemon? Are they people? Are they just Pokemon? They're just monsters. Monsters. They're just monsters. Speaking of Ghostbusters, since I'm wearing this, I'm just gonna, one of my favorite lines in there in the first movie that Bill Murray says, where he's like, it gets quiet in the prison room, and it's like in the jail cell, and they're all talking about, we're looking at the apocalypse or something, and he goes, "So be good, for goodness sake. Whoa, somebody's coming. Somebody's coming." Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts. But the ghost in there, Gozer? I forgot, like, it's strange that can you be that powerful? Can you be a ghost, can be that powerful, like Gozer or Vigo? Where you feed off negative emotions. You need the slime. It's Vigo! Why you came? There's different kinds of ghosts, but I don't know, just... Is it fun? I don't know. Now, I could tell you a story about, my sister told me this story. And this is back in, it's back when we were kids. And this was it was when my dad was living in Pittsburgh, and my sister was living there too. I remember she told me she likes to sleep with the door open, and all the other doors in the house are closed, but her door's not. that was her, that's how she was comfortable that way. But I remember she told me this story where, like, she was sleeping, and then, or I'm not sure what she said, I can't remember the story, but I remember she told me that, like, she remembers looking at the doorway, and she saw someone there, like, standing, and it scared her, and then, like, she said that, I think she called to, like, hey, who's that? And then, like, I remember she told me she turned on the lights, no one was there, she looked around the hallway, nobody was there, and then, like, all the doors closed, my dad was asleep. Stepmom was asleep too, and, like, she told me that she looked everywhere, there was nobody there. So she was pretty sure there was a ghost right in her door, right in that doorway, just looking. And the house that I'm in now, I'm pretty sure that there is a ghost in this house, but not only in one room, and it's a room that was my room. So me and my brothers, we've all, like, switched rooms around. This is now my room, of course. But the room, one of the rooms in this house, when that was my room, I remember there were times when I'm sleeping, I'd wake up, and then I would see, like, a figure near the door. So, like, my closet's, like, right here on the left, and then the door, well, this is my left, on my left, and then my front door's right there, and the bed's in the middle. I remember there were times I'd wake up, and I guess I'm just adjusting myself, and it woke me up. There was a few times I woke up and I thought I saw somebody at my door, and I remember going, like, I remember, like, trying to grab my phone. I'm sure I was laying with it, and I, like, pointing, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then, of course, nobody's there. And I remember one time I asked my brother when he was in that room, I asked him a while back, I was like, do you ever feel like there's a ghost in that room? And he goes, like, you too? You seen it too? I was like, yeah, man. It was like, I feel like it's in that room, just that room specifically. And I don't know what it wants, but I just know it's probably still there. I mean, I could go in that room, no problem, but, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something's in my house still. Now I'm like, now that I'm talking about it, I feel like I'm having a hard time sleeping thinking about it. I feel like I'm going to see a ghost in my room, in this room now. Yeah, Jesus. I don't know, my cats or dogs, they haven't barked at anything randomly. Then my cat hasn't stared into the abyss without making it look weird like he's staring at a ghost or anything. I know my dog likes to bark randomly at times, but that's because sometimes I'll kick him out of my room and he'll sit in the living room and just start barking. I remember I snuck downstairs one time just to see what he's barking at, and I just see him, like, sitting on the floor, just, like, going, like, just barking around like this, trying to get someone's attention, going, roar, 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 roar. Like, okay, I get it, you're lonely. Alright, come on my room now. Just relax. Just relax. Yeah. Another thing, too, this is something that's always, speaking of Silent Hill, because I'm playing the music from there, because that has something to do with ghosts, but, like, I just know in those games, if you're like, this is what, every time I think about this, but, like, in the games, when you have a radio, and when it starts making the white noise, that means there's, like, a monster nearby, and, you gotta kill it, of course, or try to escape it. But ever since this game, I never got so far in the other games. I never played part 1, didn't get too far in part 2. I almost finished part 3, but I found I was getting the bad ending. But I just know. But what I'm saying is that when you hear the white noise, every time I hear a white noise, I think of Silent Hill. But every time I also hear a white noise, I feel like maybe there's a ghost nearby. Maybe he's trying to change the station. Didn't like the music, you know? But now he's street music. So now, how's the ghost gonna listen? How is the ghost gonna change the song now? I can't take over computers. I feel like I'm saying that now. Someone's like, computer's gonna pop up on something without even me doing anything to it. Like, it's gonna randomly put up like a music video of like, I don't know, George Michael. He's not haunting us. He's doing his own thing. R.I.P. George Michael. I love the soundtrack to this game, by the way. That's probably why I'm playing it right now. Part 3 had a good opening soundtrack. But in Drag Me to Hell, was that a ghost? Yeah? I remember the lady when she cursed the main character, the old lady, where she goes, "Ah, yeah," and then she would go say, "Pretty soon it'll be you begging to me." You know? Was that a ghost haunting her, or was that just a demon? It was just a demon haunting her, right? Yeah. Or can demons be considered ghosts? That's another one. Maybe. Not sure. Yeah. I don't know. Well, he's got a ghost. His dog, Zero. Never left his side. Guess he died and still hung out with Jack Skellington. Didn't want to go yet. Man, damn, that's sad to think about. It's also kind of adoring. In the Castlevania games, though, you fight ghosts. And they're pretty easy. Just one hit on all of them. That's it. One hit. One or two hits. See, I wouldn't want to be that ghost. Just come in, and you get hit by Simon Belmont's whip or Alucard's sword, and it's like, okay, that's all I can do to you, huh? Nothing? Just come up to you, creep, and then, oh, it's over for me. Yeah. Or like in Fatal, I never really played this game, Fatal Frame. I just know that the only way to fight the ghosts in there is you gotta take a photo of them a few times and they get trapped in the camera, in the picture. I do want to try those games, but I feel like, you know, there's certain horror games that are too terrifying. I feel like that's one of those. You know, it's like Paranormal Activity. Not sure if I mentioned this, but the first movie scared the hell out of me. Scared. I could not sleep. I couldn't sleep. I thought that was real. I mean, eventually I was going to find out it was fake sooner or later, but I remember when I Googled it, when that time that it came out, I had to find out it wasn't real, but it's like it still scared the shit out of me. I still love watching it, actually, but it's fun to watch. I think part 1 and 3 were the best movies. And the Mark ones, with the kid, you know, like this, trust fall, but those are the only ones I like, yeah. Well, the Ghost and the Grudge, or I don't know, would I be? That's all they do. That's all they do, and I didn't find that movie that scary. Not as scary as The Ring. But you know what? I don't really have much more to say about this, but. Sorry. I'm not done yet. I still got a little more to talk about. The movie Poltergeist. I don't think I mentioned it in the video here. But I do remember that one scene with the mom and Carol Ann were in the kitchen. And I think the other kids too. The chairs kept moving every time the mom left the room, and she kept thinking that was the kids. And then I just remember this also. Well, I mean, what happens next is when she goes back again just to do something else in the kitchen. She turns around, all the chairs are just stacked on each other. You know? That part was cool. But the cool part to me in that movie was the next part is when the dad comes home and the mom is just like experimenting with the chairs, how they're able to slide around. You know? And how like she got from one line to the other and just slides, and she puts Carol Ann, the daughter, the young blonde girl. She's probably like 8 or 9 in that movie. I think she passed away after part 3. She was when still a kid. R.I.P. It's still pretty sad. But anyways, I just remember she puts Carol Ann at where the chairs begin, and the ghosts just slide her across the kitchen. You know, the dad catches her. She's wearing a helmet too. And I remember thinking, how fun would that be? You know, just to have like a ghost just sliding you around. It's like, you know, when you want to get carried and get like, you know, carried around like you're like an airplane or something, like what your parents used to do to you when you were a kid, maybe, if your parents ever did that with you. You know, it's kind of like how I mentioned for Paranormal Activity, where the guy, you know, the ghost saving his life, you know, giving him the whole trust fall thing. How fun would that be? You know, just for a ghost to just slide you around like that. I think my favorite thing in that movie, my favorite character was the old lady, the old small lady. I think it was, damn, where is it? I had it up here. Her name was Tangina, yep, in Poltergeist. She's the little small lady. You know, I go, this house is clean. She was cool. I like the little small lady. They don't have, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they don't have, like, unique, like, characters like that anymore. Back then, they don't do that anymore. Or maybe they still do, I'm not sure. Please tell me a movie that really was like a unique character like her. You know, she's just a small little lady who knew about the ghost. You know, what does she say? Now clear your minds, it knows what scares you. You know, I miss characters like that. Oh, and like one thing I need to mention. A long time ago, I made an Ouija board. It was out of cardboard, and I had a plastic cap that was see-through. It was kind of like this, the shape, but it was see-through. And I remember, nobody wanted to try it. Nobody. Not one person said yes. Not one person was curious. They just said, no, we're not doing it, no. And one of my friends told me, like, you know, you just made the key to hell. And I go, like, I mean, yeah, I probably did. But, I mean, can't we just try it once, you know? And they're like, no one said no. I mean, no one said yes. Not one person. No interest. Zero interest. Nobody wanted to do it. And I understand. I totally get it. I totally get it. No, but now, if I was a ghost, and I need to be contacted, if they would ask me, what is your purpose still being here, I've had to spell out Y-O-U-R space M-O-M. And they read it, you know, like, huh, what is that? I'm like, hey, wait a minute, your mom? Wait a minute. And then I make them move it again and say L-O-L-J-K. But I think my question would be, which Spider-Man movie are we in right now? Are we in the new trilogy? Are we not in Tom Holland? Are we not using Tom Holland anymore? Is it a different guy now? That would probably be my question. That'd be a long question for them to slide around, but you know, as a ghost, if I'm able to come back, you know, to visit, I would like to, hopefully, if I'm able to just sit in a movie theater and just watch whatever the newest Spider-Man that's out. That's if I'm able to leave the premises. Because, you know, the theory of ghosts can't really leave where their ghost stays to haunt. Yeah. Oh, another one, that I love, 13 Ghosts. Now that's a good one. One of my favorites. And it's not the old one, I mean this one one I'm talking about is still pretty old, but not the older one. He came out the 2001 version. One of my favorite movies. I could say that, you know, that movie probably raised me. You know, like if I ever play video games that involves creating a character, you could see the inspiration. If you see the characters I made, I'm not showing them on here. Don't want to. But I was the Jackal for Halloween. Now he's the crazy dude with the straitjacket, and he has the cage on his face. Didn't get to do the cage, but I remember for scare acting, for the day of Halloween for scare acting, they let me be the Jackal. I had a good makeup artist. She was pretty good. Maybe I could post a picture there in this video, but I had so much fun playing that character in the haunted maze I was in. Scare acting is so much fun. It's very therapeutic, I'll tell you that. But 13 Ghosts, back to the movie, so good. So good. I loved all the characters in there. I loved all the ghosts. Even the mom, who was also a ghost. She didn't do much, but she still looked cool. She still looked pretty cool. Like, I feel like that cast of ghosts can just do a fighting game, which is interesting because there is a fighting game with horror characters, and that's Darkstalkers. And there is a ghost character in there named Bishamon. He's like a samurai spirit. Let me look it up. And I think Senko too. Yeah, Bishamon, he's a samurai. He's a ghostly samurai inhabiting a cursed suit of armor called the Hanya. I don't know, I'm not going to get into that, but he looks pretty cool. You know, and Senko, she's a Jiangshi? Jiangshi? Oh. She's not a ghost. Oh, she's a Chinese hopping vampire. Oh, that's one of those things. I've seen those before where they're like that and they just hop around like that. Oh. Those are vampires? That's cool now. I didn't know those were vampires. They just hop around like that. That's all they do. Well, that's from what I've seen. Oh, that's good to know. I thought she was a ghost. She looked like she could have been a ghost. I mean, she's able to summon all those random things. But I don't know. I gotta read more about that. That Jiangxi lore. Oh, another movie that involves ghosts. That's pretty good. I like. It's empty. Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. Now that's about where he gets hypnotized at a party. Now all of a sudden he can see a ghost in his house, and this girl. So I wonder if this counts as a vengeful ghost, but like, she's a ghost just trying to get in contact because she was murdered, and she needs Kevin Bacon's help to, you know, find her body because her. Damn, I don't want to spoil the movie. But yeah, she needs help just to get in contact with her. I guess to let her family know that she's not missing, that she's actually, you know, dead. Sorry, I got like a piece of had something in my teeth with food. But she got her message. She was just trying to get her message out. Well, no, she wasn't trying to get her message out. She was just more like she was trying to get found. Because her body, she was missing. Technically, she was missing, but she was actually dead. So Kevin Bacon had to figure out what she wanted, and he had to find her body. That's not the basic plot, but that's part of the plot. Yeah, because she was murdered, basically. And then there's the movie The Others with Nicole Kidman. So that one had an interesting twist too, where kind of close to the Sixth Sense in a way, where her family is being haunted by ghosts the whole time, and she's trying to get the ghost out of her house. Then you find out, then in the movie, her and her family, her and her kids were the ghosts the whole time. And the people they thought they were being haunted by, the ghosts they thought they were being haunted by were actually people who moved into their house. And they had like a psychic lady trying to get in contact with Nicole Kidman and her kids to try to, find out what they want and try to get them out. But, the family who moved into the house ended up wanting to move out. I think I just spoiled the whole movie, but still. That's a good one. I always like that one. Well, I'll tell you a place where I wouldn't want to be around ghosts is probably the Overlook Hotel, like in The Shining. Jack Nicholson, Jack Torrance, all the ghosts were, I wouldn't say all the ghosts, but him working all the time, going like this, typing, and his wife is bothering him, the moment you hear this, that means I'm working. That's what he does in the movie, But also, it's like, he's going crazy because all he's doing is working, all work and no play, make Jack a dull boy. That's the whole thing. That's what he wrote the whole time. The whole time. He wrote all work and no play, make Jack a dull boy. But I also think the ghost in that house, the butler, the one who was looking after the hotel before Jack, was telling him to kill his family. Well, because, what did they tell him to kill his family? Damn, I love that, but I forgot. But that's, the ghost in that house basically just making him go crazy, right? Or just having cabin fever, stuck in that house, that giant hotel throughout the winter, nobody's there, just you and your wife and kid, typing out your work, even though you weren't really typing out work, you were just typing the same sentence over and over and over again, and the ghosts around you are just enjoying themselves when you can't do a damn thing about it. You can't even hang out with it. You could hang out with the ghost, but they're like giving him bad thoughts. They're making him they made him want to kill his family. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be haunted by those guys. Oh no, I wouldn't want to be in a haunted hotel like that. Is Bloody Mary a ghost? Does Bloody Mary count as a ghost? You say her name 3 times in the mirror. I've never done it. I don't think I've ever wanted to. Or I think maybe when we were kids we tried to, but we never got to the 3rd one. We never got to the number 3. We just leave the bath. We would run out of the bathroom because we had the lights off. We tried to stay in the mirror, and it just never happened. We just run out. We get too nervous, like, we can't do this. We can't do this. It's like saying Candyman 5 times in the mirror. Oh, Candyman's a ghost, right? That's a cool one. I like that movie too. But yeah, I can't. Not once. I don't think I can do it now. I would like to watch a video of somebody doing it, but I'm not doing it. No, I'm not. I would not do that. Man, even when I was talking about this now, I have a feeling I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping because I'm talking about ghosts. Probably be a ghost hanging out with my cats. Yeah, I think that's all I got for this portion of the video. Right, we're gonna cut back to Gino, who was just closing out. All right, back to you. Let's close it out now. Take it home. Take it home, buddy. Take it home. I'm just hoping the mic is on. Okay, it is on. But good. This is Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen, by the way. He was number 1. He had it all. He had it all. He had a cool hat. He had a grocery shopping list. Don't ever downplay Smitty Urban Jaegerman Jensen. Alright, don't ever downplay this guy. Ever. See you around. Oh, we're going. Oh, I made it black and white. Oh.